open about my life, my triumphs, my struggles, my joys, my pains, and even my sunshine and my rain. Just kidding, got a little caught up there. But anyway, this has not always been the case because I remember when it would be so hard for me to show vulnerability, to show imperfections or insecurities. I felt that it was a sign of weakness or that it revealed my insecurities. I expected perfection of myself, quite frankly. And there were many times, and frankly still are some times when I feel that I'm just not good enough. And then several years ago, I started asking myself, good enough? Not good enough for what? Or not good enough for whom? Not good enough. I wanted to do this study called Not Good Enough. And I want to talk about 3 things to remember when we're feeling as though we are not good enough. Because when you think about it, particularly now in this day and age, you always find these people who will always have something to say, like always. And we have to ask ourselves, like, why do we even care? Like, why do we care what someone else says? Because, no matter what you do, no matter what you say, someone will have something to say about it. So, number 1 thing to remember when you're feeling as though you're not good enough is that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. And that comes from Psalms 139, verses 13 through 14, which says, "You formed my inward parts. You knitted me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made." Formed my inward parts and knitted me together in my mother's womb. Boy, that's very much on an intimate level. And you think about this. God knew us before we were born. He knows us at our deepest cellular level. We simply cannot hide from him. Even the parts of us that we try to hide from ourselves, those are not hidden from God. Y'all don't hear me. You don't hear me. So with that being said, if God knew us before we came into this world, and he knows our innermost thoughts and still loves us, why is that not good enough? So the second thing to remember when we feel as though we're not good enough is comparison will steal your joy every single time. We are all one body in Christ, but many members, so we all have various gifts. And 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verses 21 through 23 tell us, "The eye can't say to the hand, I have no need for you, nor the head to the feet, I have no need for you." And those parts of the body which seem to be weaker are very necessary. And those parts of the body which we think are less honorable, those are the parts that are worthy of our honor. It's in the Word. Many of us fall into the trap of comparing ourselves to other people. And I believe that social media has really negatively contributed to this phenomenon. If you think about it, the people you're comparing yourself to, they're comparing themselves to someone else as well. And most people will only post their highlight reel, and you never really get to see the parts that they like to leave on a cutting room floor. So every single time that you're trying to compare yourself to someone else, you're stealing your own joy. So, and finally, the third thing to remember when we feel as though we're not good enough is that we have to remember to practice gratitude for where we are now and for what is now. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verses 16 through 18 tell us, always be joyful, never stop praying. Be thankful in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you. You know, talk about absolutes. When you hear words like always be joyful, never stop praying, in all circumstances. And there's a thing about gratitude. Gratitude strengthens and transforms our faith. Gratitude kind of shifts your focus. So whatever you're focused on is what you move towards. So in conclusion, you are good enough simply because He made you in His own image and thought you were to die for. Thank you so much for listening. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments section. And if you're listening via YouTube, please be sure to click like and also the subscribe button. And remember, with My Tilted Halo, we celebrate being perfectly imperfect.